It's the same as building your personal brand for salespeople, building your personal brand about why you should be communicating the information to your clients about what you're selling, product or service. It translates obviously to a company. For a company, it really answers that simple question that every one of your clients is asking, and that is, why should I choose your business over a competitive business? And your unique value proposition very quickly, very competently, and in that 30-second elevator speech should be able to articulate what is unique about your business and you, what value do you create for that client who's thinking about doing business with you, and the proposition is, how does that all come together?
You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes. And welcome to this episode of the Sales Today podcast, where I'm delighted to be joined by John Ravaris, who is author of Define, Value, Drive Growth, and the founder of UVP Solutions. So John, welcome, sir.
Fred, awesome to be here. Love what you do, especially around the selling component and the technical selling component, and excited about our conversation today. I think it's going to be super fun for your audience, and I know it's going to be for us as well.
Well, as long as we have fun, John, I mean, that's the whole point, really, isn't it?
Can't disagree with you there.
No, so look, the first question is easy. I mean, you've been so good as to even name your company after what I want to talk to you about, the whole UVP thing. So I've read book. And, you know, the UVP is like the star of the show, really, isn't it? Yeah. Without the UVP, the book ain't happening. So what's a UVP? Because, you know, people might know USP. UVP, so what is it?
It stands for unique value proposition, right? So unique value proposition. I like to think about it for people, not just in your business world, but in your personal life, right? People talk a lot about building your personal brand. It's the same as building your personal brand for salespeople, building your personal brand about why you should be communicating the information to your clients about what you're selling, product or service. It translates obviously to a company. For a company, it really answers that simple question that every one of your clients is asking, and that is, why should I choose your business over a competitive business? And your unique value proposition very quickly, very competently, and in that 30-second elevator speech should be able to articulate what is unique about your business and you, what value do you create for that client who's thinking about doing business with you, and the proposition is, how does that all come together? I like to think about it as, what are your core strengths as an organization? What are the pain points and success factors your client is trying to achieve? And how do those two things come together that the strengths of your organization eliminate pain, help success? And the more pain you eliminate and the more success you create, the more value you create. And that turns into how you do that uniquely for your business, and it turns into one of your favorite topics, which is growth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny actually, because the way that you set that question, I often use that in training. I'll say to people, look, I'm going to ask you a question. Now, if anyone asks you this in real life, you probably want to disqualify them because they're a bit of a dick, right? But I'm a coach and I'm asking you deliberately, and I'll just ask, why should I buy from you? And it's interesting at the first iteration what people say. They'll probably be as far from a unique value proposition as you can be. You know, they'll say, oh, because we're innovative, we're cutting edge, and we're market leader. And it's like, you know, everyone says that. How can they all be market leader? Well, you measure it on a way that makes you it. So you're making sure that people aren't giving that kind of generic, God, that could be anybody answer, to really tightening it down into Oh, you're inside my head. That's what you're doing, isn't it?
Well, interestingly enough, when I started talking about unique value propositions 20, 25 years ago, people weren't talking about unique value propositions. You would hear the term value propositions, you would hear the terms competitive advantage. There was a number of these different terms out there, and I purposely always put unique in front of it. And still to this day, you'll see unique 20% of the time and all the others 80% of the time. And why I like that word so much, Fred, is exactly what you said. Is once you get that answer in your training, you can come back and say, yes, but what's unique about what you just said? And then your person's like, well, Fred, I just gave you all of my bullets. What are you talking about? I heard every bullet you said, John, but there wasn't one of them that stood out in my mind that I could latch onto that said you're different than the other three people that just came in here and presented themselves as well, right? So the unique component is there for a specific reason and a very important reason. I'm glad you picked up on it.
It's like you've sat in on some of our sessions. No, it is, and you kind of know what's going to come. That's great because then we can start to shine a light on that, and then go to the whole, well, what pain are you solving? What prize are you giving, or success are you giving? Cool.
Can I just add one piece to that?
Yeah.
That
Please go for it. Yeah.
One of the things, and there's a chapter in the book that talks about when you're building unique value propositions, it's really made up of two components. One is like competencies, and then truly your unique competencies. Nobody talks enough about like competencies. So when you're consulting and doing your training and you're doing it in the healthcare industry, there are 3 or 4 or 5 things in the healthcare industry that everybody is selling and delivering and that quite frankly clients are buying. I call those like competencies. Those are the ticket to the entry.
Right.
But just because everybody's doing it, Fred, does not give you a hall pass that you don't have to describe them differently, right? So I like to bring that up because people are like, well, how much is really unique in my business? I grew up selling industrial cleaning supplies, toilet bowl cleaner. You would argue that that's the most commoditized thing in the world. But where we were commoditized in what we did, we articulated it differently. As our competition, we're talking about janitorial and custodial cleaning, we were talking about cleaning for wellness. Same exact process, totally uniquely different. So I just want to leave your listeners with that. When we're talking about unique, and you and I are saying hit those high points, we're also saying those things that are like, you better articulate them uniquely to help separate yourself. And then those 1, 2, or 3 things, that money back guarantee, whatever it might be, that's something that you do truly different than your competition. Those are unique, but those are usually 1 or 2. Where the business is won often is how well you describe the like competencies differently. Thanks for letting me throw that in. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. It's important. Well, because I was going to move on probably a bit too fast, but I think that's key. And it's sort of like you can imagine your competitors getting upset with that, going, yeah, but we do that too. Yeah, but you didn't say that. I did, not in a way that meant anything to the person you were saying. You made your customer. That the story about that, the janitorial supplies is brilliant. You made them feel like a janitor. These people are clearly operating theatres. They feel a different level. Like they see there's a different thing. That there's a more importance. It's not the slip hazards here. It's infection and killing people.
Right. Yeah.
Different
exactly.
story. Same thing.
and in that business, and in many businesses, in your audience businesses, right? You're one of 3 prospects that people are looking at. Before COVID, now coming back a little bit, you are getting in person over Teams, the opportunity to present. And if you present at 1 o'clock, your competition presents at 2, and your second competitor competes at 3, You say cleaning for wellness. The other two say janitorial custodial. That person at 4 o'clock, when they're doing their debrief, they're like, huh, those people at 1 o'clock, they have a different tact, to your point, more in line with the success that we're trying to accomplish here, which is an overall client experience. I'm not hiring a cleaning company. I'm hiring somebody to help me with that client experience of the people who occupy my building. Well said on your part.
Yeah. You want them to be sat there going, do you know that third one? They really seem to get us. They're our kind of people, aren't they? Yeah.
They think a little
that's not by accident, is it?
They think a little differently.
Yeah.
That was quite innovative.
Yeah. They're like us. But that's not accidental. In fact, it's a very structured way to refine and deliver. And that's what you cover in the book, isn't it? The 4D roadmap.
Exactly right. So to do that, one, you have to know your organization very well. So the first D is discovery. And great unique value propositions start by understanding who you are as an organization. We do that through employee interviews, but it really is, who are you culturally? That's unique. What are your strengths as an organization based on the capabilities that you have that makes you unique and different? And then again, back to the client piece, how do you align with your clients and what they're trying to accomplish? So discovery is the absolute key to understanding, the foundation of differentiation. There's a key component then, obviously, in voice of customer, doing those client interviews. I love this because everybody says, I know the client, right? I've owned the business for 25 years. My top salespeople know it. My marketing person knows it. Well, how come if everybody knows it, when we bring stuff to the marketplace, it's usually 75 or 80% right? So you go and you get that customer feedback, and it really tells you mostly what you need from a 360 perspective. I also like adding in there vendor partners. So think about vendor partners who call on not only your business, but your competitor's business, right? So you have a distributor who calls on your business and somebody else's business. For your engineering product customers, there's somebody who's selling something that they're not only selling to your firm, they're selling to another firm. And you can get a lot of valuable information by asking, hey, Fred, I was thinking about, how we go to market, and we're thinking about doing it this way. I know you call on a lot of people in our space. Does that sound like something that would be differentiated? And just by the fact you asking, that person starts talking about your competitors and here's what they do and here's what you and why you're different, just because you asked. Obviously, in that employee interview piece, there's also your subject matter experts. Every business has a subject matter expert. And you put all that together in the chicken soup of background. The one thing, Fred, that I'm so passionate about in that discovery piece that people miss a lot is competitive analysis. You cannot build a unique value proposition if you don't know what your closest competitors by vertical market that you want to sell to are selling, articulating, the words that they're using, the phrases that they're saying, their go-to-market. I didn't know to switch to cleaning to wellness until I did competitive analysis and I put our company up against everybody else, and everybody was using the exact same generic term, right? So competitive analysis is really, really big, and that's part of that first D through discovery. So let me stop at the first D and see if you got any brilliant questions around that.
Well, no, the observation really it's the depth that you go with this, because it's very easy to go, who are we? What are our strengths? Yeah, aren't we wonderful? Come on then, off we go. Let's tell everyone this. I'm being a bit facetious here, but I'm not far from the truth in many cases.
Spot on.
Client, what do they care about? You said differentiator. And I can hear a colleague of mine almost ranting, saying, being different is not a differentiator. It has to be relevant to the customer. Just being different makes no odds whatsoever. Got to be relevant, which you find out by going, well, are the customers caring about what they actually buying, what they're trying to do? Then we can wrap that up and go, that is a differentiator because we're different meaningfully. So yeah, I just love the depth of discovery that if you're going to do this stuff, you've got to start off properly, build the right foundations.
And I love the way you said that, because people ask me, well, how long is this going to take? How long is it going to take to execute the book? And I said, to do it well, depending on where you're starting, is a 6, 7, 8, 9 month process. And they're like, well, that's too long. I said, when have you ever done a strategic initiative in your business, a new ERP system, a new product launch, and you've done it quicker than that? And everybody's like, oh, you're right. Most, ERP took us 2 years and we still don't have it right. That new product has been in development for 3 years. So why won't you put the time to do this right? To your exact point, why won't you take the time to do this discovery well? Why are you rushing this when it could be, quite frankly, the most important thing that you do? Because if you launch that new product and it doesn't hit the pitching with the customer you think, you've just wasted a lot of time and effort. So this discovery, our egos cheats discovery all the time because I know best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the other thing that strikes me is that while you're doing your discovery and you're talking to your customers, which I'd argue is your job anyway, something might come out of that. And you never know, you might sell something while you're doing that because you've asked such a cool question. They go, is that what you guys do? Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. Oh, because we're not very good at telling you, that's why.
And you said it earlier. I tell you, if it's happened once, it's happened 100 times in my discovery, where a client has said, do you know I've been doing this 25 years and you're the first person that's ever asked me these questions? So just the fact that you're here it differentiates you as a salesperson and an organization 100%.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on. Let's keep this ball rolling. So we've done discovery. We invested the time and effort to do this.
Yeah.
We're moving on to the next D, which is
develop. Now you're ready to develop those UVPs. And I like to say, develop the draft UVPs. This is where people, again, fool themselves to think that I have all the information and it doesn't need to be validated. And we'll talk about that. But what you're trying to do is, as we said at the beginning, align the strengths of the organization to the pain points and success factors of the clients, and clearly articulate those competently and succinctly to the client how you eliminate those. Let's just talk real quick about success factors, because pain points make sense for people. Sometimes, people say, John, what about success factors? So if you think about pain points as a ticket to entry, back to my old janitorial, the pain point is, I need to get my building clean. You're here and I'm looking at your services because the person who's doing it now isn't doing that, and they're not eliminating my pain. Success factors is, okay, not only can you eliminate my pain, but I have a goal for my building to increase the occupant experience. And what you're telling me is the services you provide not only get my building clean, but you're in tune to the amenities that I have in my building. You're in tune to what it takes to get a gym cleaned. You don't freak out that we have a restaurant. You don't say that you don't do dog relief areas. You actually have experience in doing all those things. So you're bringing more value than the person who's just cleaning. So it's your core competencies align with not only client pain points and success factors. The more pain you relieve, as we said before, the more success you bring, the higher your client value is. I will tell you this, and you'll appreciate this from your sales background and your audience. Just because we did deep discovery, just because we have identified 4, 5, 6 unique value proposition components for that client made up of like and unique competencies, doesn't mean that every client gets to hear all 6. You still need to do your needs analysis. And if all you have to do is articulate 2 of the six or three of the six to get to the next level of the sales process, that's what you do. You don't go back and puke on all six things that the client likes they don't need, right? So you have to now, because you know their business so well, you need to help them make an easy buying decision by customizing what you can deliver to what their need. And I see you laughing because I know it's a passion of yours beyond belief.
I'm laughing because you gave me a flashback to a scenario where I was saying something similar, and one of the guys said, "But I like talking about them." I'm like, no, it's not about you. I mean, you've missed actually module one, I think, here, where we're making it all about the client. I've failed somewhere along the line. That's why I was giggling.
Well, how many times in your career have you seen a salesperson actually talk themselves out of a sale?
Oh, tons.
All happens all the time. The last piece of this, and why I say, and there's a chapter in the book, your UVPs in pencil.
I was going to ask you the old pencil thing. Yeah, why
Well,
pencil?
look, it's people make this mistake. They get so attached to their UVPs and they're under pressure and they want to roll them out. So right away they start making them pretty, and they skip the final step, which is you have UVPs in draft form. You actually have clients that gave you feedback. What a wonderful opportunity to go back to those same clients and say, Fred, I really appreciate your time a month ago. We've taken the information that you gave us and other clients like you, and we have some thoughts around ways that we can create value for you. Would you spend 45 minutes reviewing what we put together and see how it speaks to you? Did we get the words right? Did we get your pain right? Did we get your success factors right? And here's the big one. If we brought these to you as a supplier partner, would you see value in these versus our competitive set and our ability to continue to do business with you or to expand our business, right? That's when it really happens, because you're about probably 85, 90% on those value propositions. But that final mile, those things that people will tell you are the things that take it to the next level. I work in private equity as well. We did this with one of our companies. We went back to a vendor partner who does some engineering for us, ironically, and we went through the value proposition and we said, how do you think it resonates? And they very nicely said, you've missed that you design, build, and sell all domestically. Most of your competitors aren't doing in-house design. They're using outside firms. And we did all that due diligence and we missed that 5 or 6 points, percent of the point that was really important because we're so close to it. And that was the one piece that we went from pencil to pen and made an important difference.
So the whole pencil thing, what I was thinking when I was reading that, what you're talking there, is that as a salesperson, I put my hand up to do that. Here, let me go and talk to them, and I'll be in the office and I don't know what it wants to look like. I'd whiteboard it. Can I just borrow your whiteboard? Darn, exec whiteboards. I love them.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be in pencil forever.
Yeah.
I'd be constantly asking why, because it's an excuse to put out the stuff. And no. And even the pratfall effect, where you make a mistake on purpose, and they go, "No, you got that wrong. Give me the pen." Oh, we're off and running now. They're editing it.
I have a wonderful, wonderful story. So I went from manufacturing into services, and because of that transition, when I was in services, many of the manufacturers who I had friends with through my career, they would ask me to kind of consult on the vertical market I was in now. So there was a group that flew me up to Atlanta, large paper company that you would recognize. They were all excited. I was in a room with 7, 8 executives. It's in the book, the example. They ran this very high-end animated 3.5, 4 minute video about a product that they were going to bring to market. Must have cost a couple of $100,000 to do. It stops. They all look at me and waiting for me to speak. And of course, I say exactly what they didn't want me to say, which is this final? And of course, the answer was yes, right? It was yes, it was final. And they said, why? And I said, you got about 85% of it right. There was 2 or 3 things, a safety mistake, a process that wasn't articulated well, that if they showed that to our vertical market, people wouldn't see all the cool animation. They would say that these people don't know our business, and they just didn't do the final mile. If they had just shown it to that customer base who was going to see it prior to going to pen, it would have been a home run. I never saw that video again through the whole launch of the product.
Well, that's good. So it's, yeah, some good came of it. So let's move on. Let's the next one then. We've got the next D is deploy, is it not?
It absolutely is. So here's where we transition, Fred, from a unique value proposition to a growth-enabled organization. What people really like about Define Value Drive Growth, the book, is that it integrates marketing and sales. Many books are marketing books, many books are sales books. Rarely do they link it together. And for small to medium-sized businesses, buying 2 books and putting them together is tough. So basically what deploy is that transition from internal marketing and toolkits and all the messaging to getting the organization ready to be growth enabled, ready to sell. The difference that we take at UVP Solutions is it isn't just the sales organization that drives this growth at hyper speed, if you will. It's anybody who is customer facing. That could be your customer service team. It's the lady or gentleman who answers the phone. Oh, by the way, it's your accounting department who interacts with your clients every day and getting the bills right or getting them wrong. And it's a whole organizational education around why we're different, who our target market is, the value we bring to that target market, and how all that comes together to create client value. Perfect example of this, I went and took over the sales and marketing organization in a services-based business. We had 5 people who carried a sales title. We had 20 people who carried a senior operations title. And the way we doubled that business was we enabled the 20 operators to sell in conjunction with us in sales, as well as we sold. And as soon as we were at the table, for you, it's your engineer team, as soon as we had the salesperson with the engineer at the table, and the engineer could sell their component of the deliverable, the outcome, as well as the salesperson, our whole business changed, and we doubled it in 8 years. So that's an example of growth enabling an organization, expanding the reach of your customer facing team, that when they have that opportunity to be in front of that client, they're delivering that messaging that the whole organization does consistently.
Yeah. No, again, I'm just thinking of examples of particularly engineers where someone's walking with sales in their title. It's like, don't tell them anything, they might sell us something. Whereas, it's another engineer. Yeah, we'll talk to them. Oh yeah, glad you're here. We've got this other shower in that's rubbish at doing this. All right. King. What we do. Yeah. Cool. And then
I was just gonna say, my daughter recently, youngest daughter, graduated from Purdue University, and about 5 years ago, Purdue created a new degree program that was called Business and Engineering. Yeah. Because they saw that value of having the technical expertise, the left brain expertise, connected to the right brain creativity, and how that came together to create create value. I thought it was a brilliant play, but I think for our listeners, it's a really important piece is that
Yeah.
when you're become growth enabled, it's everybody at that table singing from the same sheet of music in a way that it's very difficult for the client not to believe your story
Yeah.
because it's not a story. It's culturally core to your business and how you deliver the service or product that you deliver and the outcome that you're trying to share that you do better than anybody on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds interesting. I'm gonna look that one up as well now.
Yeah.
um, Keep us moving though. So the last bit is delight.
Man, you're going to be so passionate about this. So I'm going to get some more laughs out of you on this one. So think about all of the businesses that you consult with and everybody proud of their turnover at 1, 2, 3%. So by definition, most of the businesses you work with and most of the businesses that are listening, they keep 96, 97% of their clients forever. But you ask the organization, can I get a testimonial from somebody that we do business with in our vertical markets? Or do you have anybody that could we record saying that they're seeing the value that we create? In my past, it's always at that proposal time. You're getting to the end and that client prospect asks for references. And for the next 48 hours, everybody's running around the office going, who has them? Where are they? Are they still relevant? We haven't had that. We lost that client 2 years ago, right? And the light, the D is all about utilizing. I think it's the most underused growth mechanism in his business is utilizing your best clients as your advocates to add to your sales team and your organization to amplify the message of what you do really well in your unique value proposition. They validate the outcomes better than you can around what you're articulating to your client about what you do. So think about that. You've done a great job. You've taken your strengths, you've articulated well enough on how they eliminate pain and help client success that the client has bought your solution. They've been using it and have been getting the value that you said they would get from the outcomes that you're producing over 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And now they articulate that in a way to your next prospect who looks like them in a way that you absolutely can't do it. And we don't do it enough. And why is it more important than ever is because we have better reach than ever to the marketplace through social selling, right? So if we harness those advocates, we have a better opportunity than we ever had before to amplify their message to a broader audience, creating that sales pull, right? The sales team is pushing. We now need the marketing and organization to create pull for us. And there's no better message to get out there when you're trying to create pull that people see that you've been successful doing exactly what they're struggling with today.
Yeah, yeah. And I think salespeople can also use that to amplify as well. That's part and parcel. So
100%.
we're that much closer than else.
Yeah.
So,
Why do you think and you do a lot of this work, why do you think it's so underutilized as it being such a huge benefit to the sales process?
What the social media side?
Well, just the
Just the whole,
magnifying your advocates as a sales resource.
I think sometimes it probably doesn't really occur to people. It's like, oh right, yeah, done that, move on. There's sometimes a little bit of a self-breaking system, which is well, I don't want my competitors to know that I'm working with them. They might go and sell to them. It's like, well, if that's what you think, then you should be worried anyway. But you know what I mean? It's like they're not as tight as you think you are. So you probably got to do a bit more.
I have heard that. I have heard that in my career. Yeah, a lot.
Just don't know how to actually extract the story, and mainly because you ask a salesperson to help you with a case study, and they'll roll their eyes and go, "Oh God, really?" because it's usually really painful. It takes them a long time. They have to hassle customers and marketing are never happy. Call it a success story, they change. And it's got these 4 bits. Just get that information and just relay it. You could probably do that in 60 seconds and they're all over.
And that's what we talk about in the book.
Yeah.
Help them be successful. Here are the 4 questions you ask.
Yeah.
In 20 minutes, you bring it back. You don't even need to write it down. Just record it, bring it back, and we'll make it pretty.
Yeah. Or just keep it in your own head and you can drop that out whenever, because you've got heroes. Yeah.
Yeah. As well.
Awesome. I can't believe how fast time's gone. But
it always does.
We've covered the whole framework. We've covered all.
We're so passionate about it, right?
Well, look, we could still be here tomorrow talking about this, but you give us a really high level overview of what's in the book, and it goes into a lot more depth, a lot more. Where can people find it?
Yeah, so it launched June 2nd on Amazon. So it's on Amazon, and it's also for our audiobook friends on many of your audiobook feeds. Wherever you get your audiobook, it's out there as well. So if you like to hold it in a book, hold it in your hand like I do, you can get it on Amazon. If you like listening, you'll see it on all your favorite streaming sites, if you will.
Or we can put that link in. We can put the Amazon link into the show notes so people can find that straight away. And where do people find you? What's the best way to get in contact?
Super easy. UVPsolutions.com or John at UVP Solutions. And I'm like you, I love sharing information. So if there's anything that your listeners struck a nerve here or want some more information, contact me through either one of those, and absolutely you'll get a response.
Super. We'll drop that in as well. So that's excellent. Now, John, thank you so much for coming on and sharing that, talking us through. Well, I say it wasn't just a high level overview. We went into a bit of detail though. We've got some implementable stuff. So it's very, very decent of you to come and do that. Yeah.
What I like the most, Fred, is you're a practitioner of this, and what people say, and we talked about it a little bit before, that struck you is the practical approach of how the book lays it out. You said it, and I don't take offense to it, right? There's no breakthrough of something new here. What we've done is we've put it together that if you're the owner of a small, medium-sized business, you feel as though you can execute it, you can internalize it, and you can do something with it, which is really neat. And I appreciate when you and others pick up on that. It really is a practical approach. Everybody told me nobody needs any more business books on theory. And so if people are struggling articulating in their engineering businesses or any business why a client should choose them, I think people would value from the quick read of Define Value, Drive Growth.
John, I think more than ever before, it is all about the implementation rather than the information. The information's out there. We can get that really easy. But can we help people implement it? That's the smart move. Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the Collaborative Selling Scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.